My name's Matthew Mossey, and this is my BFA exhibition that's being featured in the Julian Scott Memorial Gallery at View Johnson. The name of the show is Memento Mori. Part of the reason I chose that is because the meaning of Memento Mori is remember that you must die. The term itself is a reminder of the inevitability of death. The work in the exhibition explores the thoughts and the ideologies behind the meaning of death, utilizing a mixture of acrylic canvases, painted objects, and printmaking works. The pieces within this show kind of encompass the personal relationship that I have with the theme. I find myself pondering and contemplating thoughts and kind of just conceptualities of what death means, kind of the relationship that we as people hold with death, and kind of the what comes after, the kind of final end days. And a lot of my work chooses to kind of incorporate those forlorn thoughts and kind of emotions in trying to relate to what death means for a lot of people. And not just death as a whole, but some of those darker emotions like grief, loss, just kind of the end all of permanence is what I choose to do a lot of my work about. And my process itself is a pretty intense process, which is why there's not a ton of featured pieces here, because my work does take quite a bit of time to conceptualize. Like a lot of other surrealist artists, my process begins 2 to 3 days before the actual piece is created. I choose to actually forego sleep. I will go 2 to 3 nights before the piece is completed without sleeping. And I really do believe that the sleep deprivation really adds to the focus and the thematics within the piece itself. I find it really easy for myself to kind of sink in and really go into depth in the emotions and the feelings behind these works if I'm slowly kind of falling into them myself. Alongside the subject matter of my pieces, I like to create these figurative, human-like, anthropomorphic creatures that really embody this forlorn emotion, this somberness, this loss, grief, loneliness that's within the pieces themselves. I really find that being able to humanize and create a visual image that's relatable and that's identifiable to a larger audience versus just myself really is what ties these pieces together. One of my works within this exhibition that I think really kind of draws to the thematics of what I'm trying to represent and show in this is the guitar case piece, also known as Enlighten. It is an acrylic on an old thrifted guitar case. And it features a mixture of, a canid and other kind of skeletal structures to look and represent something that could be friendly or inviting, but at the same time you're also watching this creature that's stuffed inside of this case. It really kind of represents the feeling of entrapment or permanence, or kind of end all be all in relation to how you live your life. Another thing that I kind of find interesting about this piece in particular is that this guitar case, didn't come with a guitar. It was by itself. It was beaten and broken up when I had found it. And it really kind of lets you think about the person that owned this before, like what happened to them, how their relationship to this piece is, how, if this person too had passed and this item was thrifted and given away, kind of how that all ties back together to where we are now in this piece. So that's one of my favorite pieces within this show. Similarly enough, my Masonite piece, the acrylic kind of shaped painting itself, also known as Analogy of Purgatory, really again kind of contemplates this idea of what happens after we go. kind of really deep, heavy emotions, what this whole process is, how you become what you are to what you will be once you're off of this realm. Following along suit, there is the dichotomy piece in the show itself that features two, I believe they're like 10 by 10 pieces, and put next to each other, they really kind of represent how one perceives the physical realm and the experiences that we have within it versus kind of what we can contemplate is just past our perception. And similarly enough with the two large canvas pieces that I have, although different in maybe specific subject matters, they both really kind of focus on the feeling of isolation and just how lonely it can be to process. The print that's within my show itself, titled Optimism, is a smaller piece that took me about 9 to 11 hours to carve, and then another additional few hours and days to kind of print and get that process down. Again, it still kind of ties in the hopefulness that comes with thinking about these kinds of thoughts and kind of having something to look forward to in the future, even though kind of behind you and kind of in the back of your mind, you do realize that one day it will all come to an end. And the purpose that I hope to give to other people from my show is I really just want people to be able to connect and really feel these thoughts and emotions that come with death, that come with ending, loss, grievances, and be able to relate to them. I really want people to be able to relate to this in a way that they haven't felt they've been able to before. Thank you again for everybody that's been able to see my show, whether it's in person or through this artist video and kind of virtual exhibition. I really appreciate that, and I really hope that you're able to take something away from this or be able to relate to these works in a way that you didn't necessarily think that you would have before. But thank you very much. And I'm going to put my social medias and all that kind of stuff right at the tail end of this video, so if you want to continue to follow me and follow my work and kind of my artistic journey, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate that. But thank you again to everybody who's here, who watched the show, and who kind of helped me set up to be able to do this exhibition. So thank you.